Hello everyone, this is Joe Drums coming to you. I hope everybody out there is doing great, staying safe. I'm doing great, staying safe as well. Today is October 1st. Here we go into fall. Say goodbye to summer. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about practice pads. It's been coming up a lot about practice pads and which ones to buy for my drum students. So I thought I might share some information with you guys on practice pads. I remember before I even first started playing the drums, or when I first started playing the drums, the first thing I got was a practice pad. I'm going to show you which one I actually had. It'll be on the screen here. But in the midst of that practice pad, I kind of lost interest in drumming because of the practice pad. I knew you had to practice on it. I didn't have a drum set at the time, but I still felt like there was more to drumming than that, and it wasn't too glamorous at that point in stage. However, I still kept with it, and eventually got my first kind of real practice pad here. This was the Remo practice pad, the classic gray plastic rim with a foam underneath this little mini kind of drum head. It all ties down with some screws, and that's basically it. But you can hear it. It's a little bit louder than your average pad. It's got some foam on the bottom here, and it's got a little spot so you can screw it into a little mini stand if you wanted to, like a cymbal stand, or you know, they do make practice stands for those, and they're pretty generic, so that will fit pretty much anything. But anyway. So I used to practice on this quite a bit, and then this is something that you can, once you do have your drum set, you can throw this on the snare drum and get kind of a little bit of a snare sound with it. And it was kind of the go-to practice pad of the time. This was back in the late 70s, early 80s. That was the one to go for. Then later on, they got a little more complex. This one here is the Real Feel pad. You guys probably remember these. These are really heavy duty. The rubber pad was really kind of getting popular at the time, and the Real Feel pad had, this one particular one had two different surfaces. It had more of a hard feel, which I'll show you that. The black side was the harder feel. So practicing like specific little rolls and things like that on it, whereas the other side, little softer, and that was kind of like the go-to probably for the rest of the 80s and early 90s, I'd say. And then Zymox come out with a pad, which had a really nice rubber feel to it, and it had some rubber bottom for the pad, so you could sit it down nice and wouldn't have to worry about scratching anything. But what it came with is this little plate with a whole mess of ball bearings inside of it. And the ball bearings caused it to make it sound like a, you know, kind of like a soft sounding snare drum. So this was a really good one, and this got really popular for a while. They made a smaller version of one too. That was this one here. And again, same kind of feel, different color of the pad, but again, the same thing, had the little mini plate on the back of it, and that was a really good portable one where you could put it into like a you know, backpack or something like that, or you know, if you're bringing your practice pad to your practice lesson or whatever, and you have like a little mini bag with holding your books, you can put this in it really good, and it doesn't take up a lot of space. And again, it sounds really good too. So that's kind of nice. In fact, these got really popular because of the ball bearings. And after a while, there's other companies that come out with ones too. I don't have every single practice pad out on the market, but I've got quite a few to help you out. At least you can kind of decide for yourself which one you want to go with. These Zymox pads, as far as I know, they don't make these anymore. In fact, Zymox, the company, I actually ordered a hybrid drum, which is kind of like a real, kind of a regular snare drum. It's a smaller snare drum, but it's portable, and it's more, I wanted to use it like a practice snare drum, kind of like a practice pad. But I ended up ordering it, and 3 years later, I still haven't got it yet. This company, I don't know, I would not buy anything from them anymore. It looks like they're folding or something's going on. I've tried several times to get a hold of this company, and they send these generic letters out saying that COVID is rampant and they're, you know, they're slow in production, and I keep getting the same thing over and over. This is like 3 years in the making now, so I'm still waiting for my drum. But I would stay away from Zymox. Not a good company at all. They really need to get their act together or something and give these people their products that they ordered and they paid good money for, because they're being a real bad company by that. And I want you guys to spread the word. Do not buy Zymox. So stay away from that company. Although this pad was good in the day, you know, it was a great place to get a practice pad was the Zymox, because they had a really good rubber feel to them. The ball bearings were really good sounding. Everything was really good on the practice pad. So enough about Zymox, but that's what's going on with them. Again, stay away from Zymox. They do make other companies that make the ball bearing versions, so maybe look that up. You know, type in practice pad ball bearings, and you might come up with another company. But like I said, Zymox, something's going on with them, so stay away. Next, like I said, I had the Real Feel. There's a different size of that as well. Again, this was more for portability. I would not urge students that are just starting off, probably mostly younger students, because the reason why, if you get a smaller practice pad as opposed to a larger one, their aim, you know, I've noticed myself, even when I first started, my aim wasn't as good as it is now to hit that center and to kind of just, you know where to hit the pad. So younger students tend to have a problem of trying to get to the center of the pad because it's so small, it doesn't have enough playing surface. So I urge them to get either something a little bit bigger with a little bit more of a playing surface to start off with, and then as you get more progressive and a little bit more speed on you, and you know your range of motion and stuff as you're building your practice routine and everything, that you make sure that your your pad, you can hit it pretty much in the center dead on all the time. So enough of that, but that's the Real Feel. Those are really good. Like I said, they still make those as far as I know. And of course Zymox, they've been around for a while. They had their versions. Evans has a just a simple little practice pad. Somebody gave me this as a gift one year. This is called the Apprentice. It has a spot for, again, a stand and a little bit of some padding on the bottom so it doesn't scratch the tabletop. This one plays real, kind of very basic, you know. It's good for, again, for portability, again, because it's smaller. They also make a version in this, too. Now, this is the 10-inch version. They make an 8-inch and a 6-inch version. And those are real portable. And we used to have all three of those at the music store where I used to teach at. And it was really a nice different variations of them, so you could get different ones. You didn't always have to get the 10-inch if it felt like it was too expensive. You know, back in the day they were probably around $40, and then the mid one, the 8-inch, was probably $29, $30, and then the 6-inch was probably like $22, $23. So it wasn't too bad. Then Vic Firth came out with the Slim Pad. This is mainly for heavy hitters, like the marching. You know, if you have the thicker sticks. I don't have any with me right now, but this is a real nice one too. And so that has a nice real feel to it too. Again, the rubber bottom to stop with the scratching, so you can put it on tabletops or whatever. Okay, and then this practice pad right here, I got this from my brother. My brother gave me this one, and it's really nice. It's by Drumeo. It's called the P4 practice pad. It says it's designed by Pat Petrillo. Basically with this practice pad, and it's got the rubber bottom at the bottom, and of course made of wood, really good solid wood, pretty heavy. The blue section is supposed to be like a snare drum, so it's set up like a drum set. And so this is supposed to be snare, your first tom, your floor tom, and like a cymbal, maybe a hi-hat or a ride cymbal you could play. And you would play like, you know, certain drum patterns if you needed to kind of feel like, you know, you're playing on an actual drum set. So I really like this one too. This is a really cool idea. Something different that I haven't seen before ever. So this is kind of a new idea. Great little pad as well. Some of these are going to run anywhere from $60 on up. Some of these may be a little less pricey. Some of them a little more pricey depending on. So you have to look on different places. Maybe Amazon or Guitar Center or Sweetwater or any of those music websites that you can purchase musical items from. So that's the Drumeo pad. And last but not least, I want to talk about this one here, which is kind of like my prized possession because they don't make these anymore. This is made by Remo. This is called a Tss Pad. It's got the black max. Really loud. It's not for soft playing. It has the snare drums on the bottom. You can take these off if you wish. And it's made for marching drumming. So, of course, if you have the big sticks, like I said, I don't have any right now, but it sounds like a real marching drum. Obviously, it's not as loud as a real marching drum, but it gives you the feel and the closest feel you're going to get to actually having a real marching snare drum. So, again, this is a really good one. And I've been using this kind of like, the first time I saw this was Jojo Mayer had one of these, and he was using it as kind of like an electronic snare drum sound. I think he had a little bit smaller. This is a 14-inch. I think he went with either a 12 or a 13, and he was using it as a secondary snare drum. So, you know, you had your main snare drum here, and then your secondary snare drum would be over here. So he would use that sometimes when he needed to have an electronic sounding drum set. And it was amazing. So anyway, I got really into that. And I thought, well, I want to try that too. But I ended up getting the 14. That way I can stick it on my snare drum and have it not flop around or anything at all. And it just stays right there. So this was really good. This was really expensive. I think it was pretty close to like $300. The drummer Aaron Spears, who I went to the Drum Fantasy Camp a few years ago, back 2013 I think it was. He had wanted to buy this from me, and I said, no, I want to keep it because it was one of those rare things that you can't get anymore, and I love keeping rare things. It's kind of neat. You know, it just shows the history of different things. And of course, that's why I have all these different practice pads too, because you know, it's history. All of these things are history, and it reminds me of you know, when I first started. So okay. So that basically about wraps it up about practice pads. I hope I shed some light on some of these things. Again, if you have any other questions or comments, please feel free to drop a line down below. And I will see you on the next video. And you guys take care, keep rocking, and I'll talk to you real soon. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.